Am I the a-hole for going out to eat when my husband is working late shifts? My husband and I work different shifts. I work the first shift, and he works a late second shift. As a result, we do not often eat dinner together because he leaves for work right before I get home, and he returns home from work after I am asleep. We also have very different tastes in food. He has a more basic American food-based diet, and he also loves seafood. I enjoy foods from other cultures, but I do not like seafood. Because of this, when we are home together, we cook different meals and eat them together. If I make something he likes, I will ask if he wants some. If he prepares something I enjoy, he does the same. However, we always eat together on our days off, whether we go out on a date or have home-cooked food. We have been doing this for years, and it has worked well. Since we work different shifts, 5 to 6 days per week, I end up eating dinner alone. I usually cook, but a couple of times per month, I go out to a restaurant that serves food he does not like to have dinner. When we talk later, I usually tell him about the meal I had at the restaurant, and he asks how it was, and I tell him. It is not a big deal. The other day, I was trying out a Peruvian restaurant recommended by a coworker. My husband and I had looked at the menu, and he did not see anything he was particularly looking forward to, so I added it to my list of places to visit when he works. I decided to go that day. He got out of work early, called me, and I told him where I was. He became upset. After I finished, I went home, and he expressed his frustration, asking how long this had been going on. I was confused because he knows I do this. However, it seems he thought I was doing pickup or delivery. I prefer to eat in the restaurant because I do not want to have dishes at home. He also cannot really explain why he is so upset, but it appears he is upset about me dining alone. I simply go out, get food, and read while I wait and eat. Then I come home. It is always food he does not like, so I go alone to enjoy it. He has not been communicating with me much since this happened. The conversations have been short and cold, making me feel as though I did something wrong by continuing this practice for years without specifying that I eat in the restaurant. He has never acted this way about anything else. He has always been very kind and willing to work through any issues we face. So, I am unsure what is different in this case. Am I the a-hole for going out to eat alone and not specifying to my husband that I ate in the restaurant? Going to a restaurant alone with a book sounds fantastic. And no, you are not the a-hole, and I cannot think of a single reason why this would bother your husband. It is very strange. Would I be the a-hole if I cut off my wife's mocktails? I have always enjoyed cooking. My wife, coincidentally, does not enjoy it, so I usually prepare our meals from scratch. This has also applied to our beverages, which were alcoholic at first and mocktails once our child was born. I do not really miss the alcohol as much as the fruity, creative drinks that can be made at home, so I make mocktails when we are alone and normal drinks for me when people come over, along with a mocktail for my wife. The thing is, she has started to drink less and less, which is totally fine. However, she still insists on me making mocktails, filled with expensive syrups, herbs, dried fruit, and whatnot for her. Unfortunately, these drinks go almost completely untouched once they hit the table. This has been going on for more than a year, and it bothers me that I am essentially throwing expensive ingredients directly into the sink. I either pay for them or make them. She keeps insisting on having mocktails, and when I confront her about it, she says, "I am a slow drinker, you know this about me," and shrugs it off, insisting she is not obligated to finish her drinks. She is asking me to brew ginger beer from scratch, dry green apples, and buy Edelweiss or Amaretto syrups. However, once the mocktail is served, hours go by, and it becomes warm and turns into a mush. I am contemplating stopping serving her altogether or making her buy the expensive ingredients herself, but it seems like a rude move. Would I be a bad person if I cut her off? No. She is not obligated to finish them, and you are not obligated to make them. I would suggest that if you can find a happy medium by batch making something special for her and letting her know that it will be the drink for the next 2 weeks or however long, that would be nice. I would also consider getting some small glasses so that you do not have the visual irritation of seeing a large glass go untouched. It is a very valid concern not to want to waste your time, ingredients, and effort on something that is not going to be consumed. You could make this about a larger effort to reduce waste in the kitchen, which is a smart move, regardless. Additionally, she is more than welcome to make her own ginger beer or fancy non-alcoholic cocktails. If it is something that you would enjoy, you could attend a class together, go out and buy ingredients together, and so on. Maybe she could be the one to start taking over drinks while you make the food. I think there is some underlying sense of entitlement occurring here that is probably worth addressing in and of itself. You are giving a gift of your labor by creating delicious food and drinks, and all that you are asking is that they are actually consumed and appreciated. It is up to you, but if I were in your position, I would approach it from that perspective. That way, you both can solve the problem together. I am sure she also wants to be appreciated and recognized for the efforts that she contributes to your lives, and you deserve the same. Am I the a-hole for ignoring a baby on the train? I was on the train yesterday, traveling up to the university, as I had an important exam. I was extremely stressed out, just trying to study my flashcards on my phone. I was sitting in a four-seater on a really quiet train when this woman with a large stroller sat right across from me, effectively shutting me in. I thought it was peculiar because she knew I would have no space if she sat there. Naturally, I had practically no space, but I only had 30 minutes left in my journey, so I just smiled at the toddler and continued working on my flashcards. Here is where I may be in the wrong. The toddler kept moving about on the seats and screaming while I was just trying to focus. I even had my earphones in to try to block out the noise so I could study. I, without even thinking about it, let out a sigh. I did not even mean to. The mother looked at me and asked if I was bothering her. I said no, I am just trying to focus. She then said I was strange for not even entertaining her child during the journey. I did not even say hello to him or anything. I could have given her a break. I was shocked by this because why am I, a stranger, supposed to entertain your child? Just because you sat right next to me and blocked me in on a quiet train. It was very odd of her. I just nodded and went back to what I was doing because I had other things on my mind. Am I in the wrong? Not the a-hole. I have a toddler, and I could never imagine speaking to someone that way. She is my responsibility, not a stranger's. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my brother to bring his dog to stay with me while he goes on vacation? I, a 28-year-old female, just moved into a new apartment that finally allows pets, but they have some pretty strict rules. Only one animal per unit, it has to be under 50 pounds, and no aggressive breeds. I have been wanting a cat for a while, and a couple of weeks ago, I adopted the sweetest little rescue. My older brother, who is 31 years old, is going on a 10-day trip with his girlfriend and asked if I could watch his dog, Tank. The issue is that Tank is a 90-pound pit lab mix who is super high energy and honestly kind of a handful. He has knocked over my niece, chewed up furniture, and he really does not like cats. I told him I could not do it. First, my lease will not allow a dog of that size, and second, I just brought a new cat home, and I am not about to stress her out or risk anything happening. He said I was being uptight and that no one checks that stuff anyway. He even offered to drop off his crate and food, as if that made it all fine. When I stuck to my no, he got annoyed and said I was choosing a cat over family. Now our parents are on his side too, saying it is just for a few days and I should help him out. I understand that it is inconvenient, but I really do not feel comfortable risking my lease or my cat's safety. Am I the a-hole for saying no? Not the a-hole. You are choosing your cat over family. Well, he is choosing his dog over family, meaning you and your situation. I have a sneaking suspicion your parents are on his side only because they know they will be stuck with Tank if you do not keep him. Stay strong and enjoy your new kitty friend. Am I the a-hole for telling a family friend that he is banned from my wedding? My fiancé, who is 19, and I, who am 23, have gotten engaged and have been planning our wedding. We are very excited and have tried to involve both of our families in the process as much as possible, as we both come from large families who are very sentimental. In our culture, the parents of the bride and groom are given the opportunity to choose a handful of their own friends to attend the wedding. These are friends who were there for them while we were growing up, friends who witnessed milestones, helped with school, and babysat us. The idea is to view the wedding as a kind of full-circle moment and to express gratitude for their involvement in our lives. The conflict began when my mother mentioned that she invited some longtime friends. I frowned and told her directly that I do not want them at my wedding. She already had a group of close friends who have been significantly involved in both our lives. I questioned whether we could not simply leave this couple out. She became upset and asked me why. I explained that a few years ago, the husband had a conversation with my father about adoption and stepfathers. I was standing with him at the time. I was probably 12, and he told my dad, "I do not understand how anyone could look after another man's child or love them as much as their own. They are just lying. I would never look after a kid that is not my own or love them as much as my own sons." Now, it is probably worth mentioning that my dad is my adoptive father. My biological father passed away when I was 2, and my stepfather married my mother when I was 5. He has always been daddy to me. No strings, no titles, and no feeling of not being blood-related. We are family. My dad is also unable to have biological children, so in his eyes, I am his daughter. My dad was taken aback by that statement and kind of stepped away. The friend realized he had made a mistake and tried to brush it off. My parents know that since then I have not liked this man, so why is it such a significant issue that I do not want him at my wedding? This is a place where I am inviting the closest people to me, and I hope they will not make me cringe when I look at the wedding photos. I eventually relented after constant requests and told her that the wife and the kids are welcome to come since I used to babysit them. However, if this man cannot stay at a distant table, he cannot come. She huffed and asked what the point of inviting them would be if they did not sit at her table. I told my mother that I am not paying for guests I do not like, and she labeled me as unreasonable. We are currently snappy with each other, and she keeps trying to bring up the topic. Am I in the wrong? This really seems like a cultural thing. I have been to weddings in India where the bride and groom did not really know many of the people there. They were friends of their parents, etc., that said, who want someone who will make them uncomfortable at their wedding. You are not the a-hole for not wanting this person to come to your wedding.